Welcome to our Warhammer 40,000 lore series. In this episode, we honor the Loyalist Primarchs, the legendary sons of the Emperor who stood steadfast against the tide of heresy and betrayal during the Horus Heresy. These stalwart leaders and their legions were the bulwark against chaos, embodying courage, loyalty, and unyielding determination. Today, all but one of the Primarchs are either damned in servitude to the gods of chaos, lost to current knowledge of their whereabouts, or dead. As mentioned before, Sanguinius died at the hands of his beloved brother Horus during the Siege of Terra, who in turn later died at the hands of his father, the Emperor. Ferris Manus, Primarch of the Iron Hands, died on Isstvan V at the start of the Horus Heresy during the Drop Site Massacre. He was killed by his most beloved brother and best friend, the Primarch Vulkan, who wielded the Blade of the Lair, a demonically possessed weapon that corrupted his mind to chaos and later possessed him. This greater demon of Slaanesh resided within Fulgrim's form for a time until the Primarch reasserted his dominance and regained control of his body. Rumors abound that Ferris Manus may currently still be alive on Mars, as his body was restored to a semblance of life through the cybernetic assistance of the Adeptus Mechanicus. However, the Mechanicus and the Iron Hands chapter both fervently deny this speculation. Over the next 1,000 Terran years, the other remaining Loyalist Primarchs died or disappeared one by one. Lionel Johnson of the Dark Angels returned to his homeworld of Caliban to find it in ruins, and the Dark Angel Space Marines he had left to garrison it were corrupted by the bitter fallen angel Luther to rebellion. He led a strike force of his own Space Marines against the traitors on the surface, fighting with a burning hate towards his lost sons. The planet was heavily bombarded, drastically weakening it, so that when the Chaos Gods realized they had failed to claim the Lion, they unleashed a warp storm of massive power and size. All that was left of Caliban's surface was the Tower of Angels and the rock. The Dark Angels form a stronghold, with the rest being either destroyed or sucked into the warp. When the Dark Angel Astartes got to the Tower of Angels, all they found was the unconscious body of Luther. The Lion was nowhere to be found, but some say that he is still asleep inside the rock. The floating remains of Caliban turned into a mobile fortress monastery, with the Watchers in the dark who are healing his injuries. Some Dark Angel Astartes say that he will return one day to lead them again. This would explain why Cypher, the fallen angel who has avoided capture time and again, has a special sword with him that he does not use in combat. This blade may be the Lion's own sword, amongst other possibilities, and the truth of its origins would be one of the first questions the Dark Angels would love to ask the most elusive of their fallen brothers. Jaghatikon of the White Scars disappeared through a Drukhari webway portal whilst he was pursuing the savage Xenos after a raid on the White Scars homeworld. Rumors abound that he was captured whilst lost in the twisting paths of the Drukhari's section of the webway. Lemon Russ of the Space Wolves is one of the Primarchs whose disappearance appears to be voluntary. The Space Wolves hold a legend that says Russ went on a quest to find a means to cure the Emperor with the fruit from the mystical Tree of Life, but the truth is likely to be far more complex. Others have said that Russ travelled into the Eye of Terror to lead his lost 13th Company against Magnus the Red and the Thousand Sons traitor Legion. Still, the legends hold that Russ was dying and that he shall return when the Imperium most needs him. The period called at the Wolfheim to lead the Wolves of Fenris once more. Rogal Dorn of the Imperial Fists apparently died fighting on the bridge of the Chaos Despoiler-class battleship Sword of Sacrilege alongside a company of his sons after he led a contingent of Imperial Fists in an attack on the Master Armada of the First Black Crusade in the late 31st millennium with a vastly outnumbered force. He had launched the hopeless assault in the hopes of delaying the Chaos offensive upon the Imperium until reinforcements could arrive. Dorn was one of the last Primarchs to die after the end of the Horus Heresy. His skeletal remains, weapons, and power armor were believed recovered from the wreck, even as most of the rest of the Chaos starship was destroyed during the conflict. In the 41st millennium, Dorn's skeletal fists have been separated from the rest of his remains and are housed in the holiest shrine of the Imperial Fists chapter on board their mobile fortress monastery, the Phalanx, preserved in stasis for all time and inscribed with the names of every Imperial Fists chapter master to have led the Sons of Dorn since his death. Only a chapter master has the right to inscribe his name and heraldry upon their sacred bones. At the same time, Dorn's skeletal corpse, without the hands, was also placed by the Imperial Fists within another chapel on the Phalanx, embedded within a block of clear amber that has been contoured to match the body's form. Roboute Guilliman of the Ultramarines nearly met his end slowly after fighting his former brother Fulgrim of the Emperor's Children traitor Legion during the Battle of Thessala in 121 M. He was mortally wounded following a slash across his throat with a corrupted chaos blade which later poisoned him, the legendary Kindbra anatheme that nearly killed his brother Horus on the plague moon of Dammon. For 10,000 standard years, Guilliman's body lay at the heart of the Ultramarines' Temple of Correction on Makrak, maintained in a stasis field to preserve it. He was the only Loyalist Primarch to still exist, in some physical sense, in the entire Imperium. His sons and billions of pilgrims every Terran year were able to experience the awe-inspiring sight of one of the Emperor's own sons, the bleeding wounds he sustained still visible upon his neck and chest. Legend among the Ultramarines long held that his wound was slowly healing in spite of the impossibility of such a thing while in stasis. Guilliman was revived again after the fall of Cadia in the 13th Black Crusade during the Ultramar campaign of 999 M. Currently, Guilliman serves once more as Imperial Regent and Lord Commander of the Imperium, as he did in the years immediately after the Horus Heresy. The resurrected Primarch led the Indomitus Crusade in an attempt to throw back the forces of chaos and the Xenos' threat to the Imperium. There is little known about how Vulkan of the Salamanders disappeared. He vanished into thin air around 1,000 years after the Horus Heresy. Some claim that he died on Isfon V, however he was later present at the Imperial Palace when Guilliman divided the Space Marine Legions into chapters during the Second Founding. The Salamanders chapter believes that after one of their number finds all 9 relics that Vulkan left scattered around the galaxy for them to find, Vulkan will return to lead the Salamanders to victory against the traitor legions of chaos and gain vengeance for the terrible slaughter suffered by the chapter at Isfon V during the Drop Site Massacre. In truth, Vulkan is a perpetual light, the Emperor, one of a strange group of human mutants who possess the ability to be resurrected no matter how many times they are slain, and Vulkan has faced the Reaper many times over the last 10,000 Terran years. Corvus Corax of the Raven Guard was tainted by guilt and shame following the end of the Horus Heresy. In order to rebuild the strength of his gene sons from the devastation of the Drop Site Massacre on Istvan V, Corax sought to accelerate the growth of his legion's gene seed organs by obtaining a sample of the pure Primarch DNA from Terra that the Emperor had used to create his sons. The Emperor allowed Corax to carry out this mission and the needed genetic material was obtained, but infiltrators within the Raven Guard from the Alpha Legion used a demonic essence to taint the Primarch DNA, causing many Raven Guard aspirants to become hulking mutants. Filled with despair and shame at this outcome, Corax personally gave each degenerated battle brother the Emperor's piece. Riddled with guilt over what he had done to save his legion, Corax locked himself away within his sanctum, the Raven's Tower, for a standard year. On the anniversary date of his self-imposed exile, he left his tower haggard and gaunt and took a small shuttlecraft. It was last monitored as setting a course for the Eye of Terror, the realm of the Chaos Gods. He left only a single word as his legacy, nevermore. Corax was later mutated by the energies of the warp into a creature composed entirely of shadow, who is now hunting the word-bearers and the demon Primarch Lorbear within the Eye of Terror. Of all the Primarchs, excepting those missing, the resurrected Roboute Guilliman, the mutated Corvus Corax, and the slowly awakening Lionel Johnson, only the damned Primarchs of Chaos live today, although their bodies, minds, and souls have been completely consumed by the power of the Dark Gods. Thank you for joining us in this tribute to the Loyalist Primarchs, the legendary defenders of the Imperium. We hope you enjoyed learning about their heroism, sacrifice, and the pivotal roles they played during the Horus Heresy. Recap: we explored the profiles of key Loyalist Primarchs, including their backgrounds and contributions. We delved into the unbreakable bonds and camaraderie that fortified their resolve. We covered the major battles and campaigns they led, showcasing their strategic genius and valor. We reflected on the personal sacrifices and hardships they endured. We examined their enduring legacy and influence in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with fellow Warhammer enthusiasts. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on our latest lore videos, battle reports, and more. Join the conversation. Have thoughts or questions about the Loyalist Primarchs or other aspects of Warhammer 40,000 lore? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from our community and discussing the rich and intricate history of the Imperium. Stay connected. Stay tuned for more exciting content. Until next time, remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war for the Emperor and his Primarchs.